All right, so let's move into working your leads. And this is what I've noticed. This career has really made some people a little bit lazy. Open enrollment is basically a shooting gallery. There's an abundance of leads, and there has been an abundance of leads since I got into this business in 2002. But I think a lot of the perspective is reactive rather than proactive. Leads are going to kind of come to you, you know, they're available constantly, and maybe you call them all, you get a rollover, you send out some information, and it seems good enough for that day. It feels like you actually worked. That is until you're in the same exact spot day after day, month after month, and your income is not where you want it to be, and it just doesn't cut it. You're not meant to struggle between open enrollment. You're not meant to struggle at all in any career that you position yourself for. So that one day that you may have kind of took it a little easy matters every day, because the momentum of it and how you're trying to build this residual income. This job is really easy when you work hard, and it's hard if you try to take it easy. That's in any career. And if agents succeeded before leads could be purchased and before we had the internet and social media and all these ways of networking and contacting people, then we can succeed faster and more easily. The one thing they did was they had to work really hard. Does everyone work hard these days? No, as I was alluding to earlier. And I heard a great phrase that really stuck with me. Work during the work hours, and the rest of the time you get to do what you want. But what happens sometimes, we kind of lose our balance because there are challenges. There's life, there's marriage, there's kids, there's things that could pop up. And the lines start to blur and we get off balance, meaning we might be doing personal stuff during the day while we're supposed to be working. And then we're thinking about or doing work at night or on the weekends when we really should have completed it during those work hours. And it can affect everything, your relationship, your stress level, your sleep, a ton of things that are really important to overall success, health, happiness, et cetera, et cetera. Let's get back to talking about leads for a minute. Instead of getting crazy, getting distracted by insurance forums, Facebook, that actually isn't positioning you for success, I want to talk about leads and working your leads and why it is so important. I've heard supposedly successful agents say they don't bother with people who waste their time, who ask too many questions, and anything of that nature, where meantime they're trying to disqualify the client rather than qualify it as a potential sale. They're literally trying to move on to the next. That is not working your leads properly or doing your job properly. I've even heard people say they've taken their proposal back, meaning a face-to-face presentation, they've given a proposal and taken it back. I think they're completely insane for doing that. And yes, you can fire your clients. And yes, not everyone is the right model. But when you let personal opinion or emotions get in the way of potentially helping someone and, of course, earning your income, meaning there's a reason you've met with someone, you really need to think about all of these things, because I always say to people like that, good, I'll take your customer. That's fine. I could deal with a minor headache because guess what? They're paying me, right? They're paying my bills, basically. Clients pay everyone's bills. That's the way it works. So I'm going to say, oh, yeah, this client's a pain in my butt. Yeah, no, it's money in my bank. It's not a pain in the butt. So part of the mindset has to go into really giving every client, a potential client, a fair opportunity to use you and you earn their business. It has to be mutual. It has to be win-win. And some of the people who complain the most become the best clients, because if you persevere and love them, they are going to love you for it, because maybe other people have given up on them. And you tend to get great referrals from that type of client. So I just want you to keep that in mind going forward. And the reality is, in any business, you're self-employed. You're the boss, right? You work for you. No matter what you do, you're paying your bills. So you're always working really for yourself. It doesn't matter if it's at McDonald's or if it's at Google. It doesn't matter what it is. You are actually self-employed paying your bills. So the question I always pose to people is, based on your performance, would you fire you, give yourself a raise, or would you constructively criticize yourself? And obviously, I'm hoping it's not a firing if you do a self-assessment like this, but you can evaluate your performance, and it's the best part about sales. You can give yourself a raise. When I first started doing sales, it was really because I was a drummer and I was trying to make money to support that. And what made it exciting for me, after I knew what I was doing, of course, was this. If I needed to buy a piece of gear or come up with some money to pay for a recording session in the studio, I would work late or work on a weekend to get whatever extra sales I needed to earn that extra income. Meaning, I didn't want to leave it so that I was, making enough money, paying my bills, etc., and then have to tap into that money for something that came up unexpectedly. I needed to make more. So I would go out and work a little harder and get a sale or two, and I would earn extra money. It's the same thing when we're adults. We kind of get in this autopilot where we're making the money, but then, the transmission on your car goes, and wow, now I need to come up with $1,000 that I don't have. Well, in our business, you can bang out the phones, make a couple of sales, ancillary products, whatever it is, and increase your income. That's something really good to keep in mind, is we really have an open opportunity. And it's really funny. I hear people say there's not enough time in a day for everything I have to do. How am I going to work a couple of hours extra? Well, we have the same amount of time that everyone has had who's been successful. Thomas Edison, Einstein, Bill Gates, everyone, Steve Jobs, et cetera, et cetera. So why not make the most of our time? Now, you might have your routine in place, and nothing will change, though, unless the habits change. Meaning we get set in our ways. We wake up, we do the same thing 90% of the time, if not more. And then we go about work the same way. We go about our personal life the same way. You need to change the actions to change the results. So if you want to earn some additional income, it's always good to shake things up and break out of the routine. So now here is the challenge I want to issue. Do you see any reason why you could not increase your sales by one sale a day? If you don't think you can, what are the reasons? I want you to write down the answer, and then what you need to do is eliminate those obstacles so that you can achieve it. And here are some of the questions you could ask. Are you following a set schedule? Do you have all of your things scripted in front of you? I always have a checklist for everything I need to do. And when I started following a schedule with tasks listed in order of priority, it really has made me incredibly more effective, where I feel like I may have accomplished more in the last 5 years than in the last 25 before that. Can you add 1 or 2 late nights for work during the week just to make a couple of extra calls, a couple extra sales? You guys may have heard me say the law of 250. If you make one extra phone call every day before you go home or before you pack up your home office, it's 250 extra opportunities you'll be positioning yourself for in 1 year. So 250 additional opportunities throughout the year. That has to equate to more income, more contacts, and grow and grow and grow. Next thing is, what about a Saturday? Can you work maybe a couple hours on a Saturday? When I worked in a call center, if I didn't hit my quota, I would come in for a couple hours on Saturday. People are home, bang out a sale or two, leave. And I would forget I even worked because it would be early enough, like I treated it like a regular work day. So you need to figure out how you could do this and where and when to really increase your sales. And have you positioned yourself for success with knowing the products, knowing sales skills, knowing the use of technology, and the right lead vendors, the right lead access, networking, social media, blogging, all of that stuff, which is a little more involved than I want to get into. Change things up, work harder, sell your way out of it so that you can really give yourself a raise, because that's what you ultimately want. No one wants to go on autopilot because you get comfortable and you're not really earning what you deserve. Set your goals even higher so that you're living in an abundance. Then try to implement these. Ask yourself these questions, do a self-assessment, and here's the quote. Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off of your goals.